Eddie overlooks as his crew cooks and bags the cocaine. His right hand, Crystal, makes sure everything is running smoothly. 2 years prior. Your alias is Crystal, it's going to take a while to infiltrate his crew, are you sure you're ready for this? Says Tasha's, aka Crystal's, superior and mentor, Detective Miles. A couple weeks later, Crystal sneaks in Eddie's high-security mansion and steals his expensive jewelry. Eddie tracks down and finds Crystal. Crystal comes into her apartment in her workout outfit drinking a shake. She turns on the light, in her vision are 3 men sitting in her living room. Crystal drops her shake. Eddie gets up, so you are the woman who managed to get into my house and steal from me, says Eddie. Eddie starts to clap and the 2 men clap with him. Eddie gets closer to Crystal, he grabs her by her hair and holds a gun to her neck. Where is my jewelry? Says Eddie in an intimidating deep voice. I don't have it, says Crystal in a strong yet soft voice. I must say that I'm impressed, I think I can find some use for you, says Eddie as he lets her go. What if I decline your offer? Says Crystal. Then you die, says Eddie as he stared deep into her soul. Over the next couple of months, Crystal uses her skills to steal for Eddie. He also used her looks to gain him access to certain spaces. Here, says Crystal as she hands Eddie a wad of cash. I still can't believe this Hermosa Mudger Melanina stole from me, says Eddie in English and Spanish. Excuse me? Says Crystal. Beautiful black woman, says Eddie. Anything else? Says Crystal. Feisty too, says Eddie as he dismisses her. One of Eddie's men, Julio, brings Crystal into Eddie's room. Eddie lying there with his shirt off, displaying his six-pack, 2 women lying next to him. You rang. Says Crystal annoyed with sarcasm. You're coming with us tonight, says Eddie. Where? Asks Crystal. Just look nice, says Eddie. Eddie waves them out of the room. Julio grabs Crystal's arm to motion her out the door. Crystal pushes Julio, Julio tries to grab her harder, she pins Julio's arm behind him. Let me go, says Julio. Don't ever grab me, says Crystal. Enough. Both of you, says Eddie with authority. Crystal lets him go. Julio holds his arm. Don't ever touch her without my permission, says Eddie. Crystal looks at Eddie in a red bodycon leather dress, her kinky afro up in a bun. Eddie downstairs in an electric blue suit. Crystal goes to get in the back seat with everyone else. Eddie whistles and motions Crystal to come to him. Eddie opens the passenger door to his car and lets her in. He goes around and gets in the driver's seat. Crystal had never seen Eddie drive himself before. Tome el caliente de fuego, says Eddie. Crystal looks over at Eddie. I'm going to have to teach you some Spanish, says Eddie. Eddie and his crew are at his nightclub in their private area. Why are we here? Says Crystal to Eddie. Why do you ask so many questions? Just enjoy the scenery, says Eddie. A few moments later, Crystal gets up, Eddie grabs her hand. Where are you going? Asks Eddie. To the bathroom. Is that okay with you? Says Crystal. Eddie lets go of her hand. As she leaves, a woman comes up and sits next to Eddie. Minutes go by, go check on her, says Eddie to Julio. As he says that he sees Crystal in the distance being held by 2 men, walking her towards the exit. Eddie lets off shots as the crowd scatters. Eddie and his crew manage to get to the 2 men, fighting them in the back alley. Eddie's crew is beating the 2 men, who sent you? Says Eddie as his crew holds them up. Eddie cocks his gun. Elazar, says one of the men. He told us to kidnap your girlfriend, says one of the men. Take care of it, says Eddie to his crew. As him and Crystal walk off, they hear 2 gunshots. Eddie and Crystal get to the house. Crystal's lip is busted, she has a cut on her head. She sits on Eddie's bed, he wipes the blood off her face with a rag. I'm going to let you go, tomorrow we'll make sure you have everything you need to get away, says Eddie. What about my debt? Says Crystal. Consider it wiped, says Eddie. What if I don't want to leave? Asks Crystal as she holds Eddie's hand. Eddie and Crystal kiss and spend the night together. Present day. The crew transport the drugs to another location. Eddie and his crew are in a huge drug deal on his yacht. They hear sirens before they dock. Detective Miles comes on the yacht with other policemen. Put your hands up, says Miles. Everyone puts their hands up. Eddie tries to reach for his gun. He hears a gun cocked next to him, he turns and sees Crystal holding a gun to him. Eddie puts his hands up as Miles takes his gun. They arrest everyone and take them off the dock. Eddie manages to get Crystal's gun and now he is holding the gun to her head. Detective Miles comes back onto the yacht. Let her go, Eddie, you're in enough trouble, says Miles as he holds his hands up. Get off the boat or I will kill her, screams Eddie. Miles gets off the yacht. Eddie drives the yacht away, throwing Crystal's wire and phone in the Miami Ocean. They are a good distance away from the chaos. Come here, says Eddie. Crystal comes over to Eddie and they kiss. Days later, the sun hits their faces as they are on the beach in Cuba.